Hi, my name is Favor, and I'm going to show you how to create a questionnaire, how to properly design a questionnaire. So at the end of this class, we are going to know what a questionnaire is, what response rates are, data types, and question types, question design principles, questionnaire layout, rating skills, questionnaire design process. So first we ask, what is a questionnaire? A questionnaire is a collection of questions given to different people in the same form. Usually when a questionnaire is created, it is made to answer certain questions about a particular topic. You don't see several topics in a particular questionnaire. You see one topic, a description, and different questions in line with that topic. Now, a questionnaire can be observational or experimental. That's observing a class before and after an intervention. Let's say observing a class that doesn't go on breaks. Yeah, children are playing in primary school, they see their mates playing and they don't play. You leave them in the class to keep learning and learning and learning and observing their performance. And then also having another class where they're allowed to play along with their mates, and then observing their actions and performance after that. That's an example of observational survey. Also, on measuring a variable in experimental or control groups, like when a drug is being tested. Yeah, the focus may be opinions or facts. It can be administered by paper, phone, email, or via a website, completed by the researcher, the subject, that's the person writing it, or a third party. Questions can be organized into groups as often in a standard instrument. Now, we're going to compare the pros and cons, that's the advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire with other data collection techniques. Now, the pros, that's the advantages. It is cost effective, it doesn't cost too much. Large samples can be gathered, greater potential of statistically significant results. That's after you're done collecting your survey, you can analyze the data. Can be carried out by different people. The cons, which are the disadvantages. Honesty of responses may be an issue. People may lie on their survey, especially when they are forced that let me just answer it a bit. And low response rates, especially for email or online. How to deal with missing or no opinion answers. That can be a big issue where they're supposed to fill a space and they leave it blank. Also, there's free response answers tend to be very short in cases where the answer requires a long sentence. People just write a word or two because they probably don't have the time or they don't have the energy and all that. So those are the disadvantages of survey. So mode of delivery may affect what is possible. It can be self-completed, as you give, when you share the survey, let's say you paste the link or you share the link to your contact, or interview-led. That's when you're when you're asked a question and the answer is gotten and then written down by the interviewer. So that's the interviewer-led type of delivery. Then it helps explanation available. Do they understand? Because if they don't understand the survey, if they don't understand the questions, if the survey doesn't have context, they will not know how to give you the appropriate answers. Next, if they are given by paper, phone, online, or an electronic form via email, these are the different ways that surveys can appear. If online, questions can be delivered one at a time with a progress bar to show level of completion. Now, what are response rates? Response rates are the proportion of questionnaires given to your sample that are completed. It should be as high as possible in order to minimize possibility of bias. You also need to make sure your sample is representative of the population. Notorious problem with online and postal questionnaires. So according to this diagram, this is a population, right? Let's say you want to make a survey of how many people have water in an area, and the area has about 2 million people. It's not possible to get across to all the people in that area. So a representation of the population is called a sample. That's taking random people from every side to make sure that every part of that area is represented. That is what a sample is. A sample is a part of that population that represents the entire population. Now, here they say the respondents should be as much as possible. Your sample size can't be 50 and then your response will now be 10. That is not a good number of responses. So your response should be close enough to the sample size to avoid bias so that it can be balanced. You can get a balanced result and a proper analysis. Next, we have how to maximize your response rate. Try to engage with respondents as a person. People do things when it's more personal. Honestly, people do things when it feels like it's for them. Give out paper-based questionnaires on a clipboard face-to-face while you are waiting, or email people who already know you. So, say for example, if you get an email from a random person, or somebody you do not know, somebody you have no business interaction with or personal interaction with, the possibility of you filling that survey is going to be really low. And that's why they say share your survey to people you already know, because it's more personal that way, and they will most likely give you more genuine answers. So next, give your questionnaire a short and meaningful title. Your title shouldn't be all over the place. Plenty, just really long and people don't understand. No, it should be short and straight to the point. Next, we have begin by introducing yourself and the purpose of your survey. Let people know who you are and let them know why you are getting their opinions. It's very important. It is called consent. Now, keep it as short and succinct as possible. People do not have time. In everything you do, you have to realize that people do not have a lot of time. So when your survey is too long, it gets confusing and they'll have to reread it, and people will not do that for you. Next, offer incentives for responding if appropriate. That's give out things for responding. Example, if you answer the survey, you get this amount of money, or if you answer this survey, you get this thing, let's say t-shirts or something. Make it look attractive. Use color and images. Don't make it blank and look boring. They will not want to fill that kind of survey. Make it convenient. When I say convenient, you know how I said people are always busy? Yeah. People will not answer your survey when you want them to answer your survey. The fact that you are free at this point doesn't mean the other person is free as well. So make it convenient. Enclose a stamped address envelope for a postal questionnaire. Now, this is for a paper questionnaire. For online surveys, you can send them the link. If they're busy at that point, whenever it's convenient for them, they will go back to your link and fill your survey. Next, we have question types and data types. Question type, we have multiple choice questions. We have multiple choice scale with words at the end, multiple answer, multiple choice, number field, ranking, and text field. Let's start from multiple choice. Multiple choice questions, you get all those ABC questions where you pick one. Yeah, you pick one answer. Multiple choice scale with words at the end. Let's say, for example, strongly agree, neutral, don't disagree, and strongly disagree. Now, all these are multiple choice questions. Yeah, these are multiple choice answers. I'm sorry, multiple choice answers. But then you have to pick one. You have to pick one answer from them, and they come with words. Each number represents a level of agreement. Next, we have multiple answer, multiple choice. Multiple answers, let's say, have you ever written a survey, answered a survey where they say, pick all that apply? Yes, where you can check several boxes. Those are multiple answers. You don't have to pick one. You can pick several answers. Next, we have number field. Number field are basically numbers. Ranking, rank the list of TV shows from 1 to 10. Text field are the places where you write. Now, we have different data types, nominal or ordinal. Nominal data are data that are in categories. Ordinal data are data that are in categories, but they follow a certain order. Let me give you two examples. So an example of an ordinal data is age range. Yes, age range. Let's say your survey has an age range of, you have a question for your respondent to answer, age. And then there's 18 to 28, there is 29 to 38, there's 39 to 48. Yes. So we all know that we have to, as human beings, we have to pass 18 to 28 before we can get to 29 to 38, right? Now that is ordinal data. There's an order to it. You leave one phase to another. It's like beginner, intermediate, and advanced. We all start at beginner level, and then we get to the intermediate level before we go to the advanced. Now, they are all groups of people. They are all categories, but they have orders. But nominal data are categories that don't have order. For example, male and female, you don't have to be a male to become a female, and you don't have to be a female to become male, but they are still categories. So that's the difference between nominal and ordinal data, and they are quantitative. Quantitative data are data that are not numbers. They are not numerical. Next, we have scale. Scale, I already explained what scales are. Multiple binary, true or false, 0 or 1, like booleans. Then ordinal data, I've explained ordinal data. Texts are characters, a group of characters that you have to write down. Like, let's say, what can you do? For example, a question in a survey that is in text field is, what do you think we can do to improve our service? That part is written down, and there's a blank line under to be filled. Now that is a text field. Next, we have activity question design. So in slide 9, we're going to see the instruction. Yes, these are assignments, these are activities to help you improve. based on the explanation you have been given. 9, slide 9, 10, these are the questions. Slide 9 is the instruction. Slide 10 are the questions. 11 questions. 11 at slide 11 is the answer to those questions. Slide 12 is another place for questions, and 13 is for answers. So 14 as well, questions, 15 answers. Now, question design principles, what to do when making a survey. Now, the first is make the first few questions easy. For example, how old are you? People don't have to think about their age. Where do you live? People don't really think about the state where they live, or what is your name is another demographic question. Now, next, then you have the most important questions on that. While their attention is still like really rapt, they're not getting tired, your important questions are directly under. Then you leave open complex questions to the end. Those text fields, they all go to the end where they end up writing. So next we have avoid very similar questions unless you are constructing skills. Don't go repeating questions. Let's say, how many times do you eat a day? So how many times do you think you eat a day? That's another question. It doesn't make any sense. You're saying the same thing. So avoid them, except if you're trying to find out something using those similar questions. Now, try to minimize bias through socially acceptable responses. For example, when you put gender, normally what you see in the survey is male, female, and now we add other. Those are socially acceptable responses. You don't put male, female, and then hermaphrodite. No. No. So it's male, female, and other. Why? Because those are socially acceptable responses. Next, respondents pleasing the questionnaire setter. Mix positively and negatively worded questionnaires. Too many or too few answer categories. Like it's too much. Like you have too many options in a place. People don't like that. It's not good. Next, demographic questions include, so it is good to start with age, gender, level of education, socioeconomic background, employment, region, because these are things that people don't really have to think about. They're like easy to them. It's useful for comparing groups. Only ask what you need. Very important. Only ask what you need. Don't go beating around the bush. You should know your objectives. You should know the reason for your survey, what you hope to get from your survey, and let your questions be directed towards those goals. Now, next we have questionnaire layout. Good layout can increase response rate and accuracy. Make the design eye-catching. It shouldn't look boring. We're not saying make it too colorful and in your face, but it shouldn't be boring. It should be attractive enough to make the person want to fill your survey. Be clear and succinct. People don't have the time to start thinking about overly complex questions. So be clear and succinct. Very important. Group questions logically. This is also very important. You are not to put the demographics up, but then scattered. You cannot put age first and then put how many times do you eat a day in the middle, and then put you have a diet next, and next you put gender. It doesn't make any sense because you're supposed to group them logically. That's what grouping questions logically mean. They should have a particular pattern together. They should have groups. Yes. So that's why demographics are together. When you put age next, you put gender, and so on and so forth. Next, sequence the questions sensibly. Don't disorganize the questions, like I just said. Make them look sensible. Let this lead to this, lead to this, and lead to that. You cannot ask somebody, how do the different factors how do the different factors selected affect you before writing the factors that they are to select? Let's say number 3 question is, how do the factors selected affect you? And then after that, you now write which of the following factors affect your study time. It doesn't work that way. No, they need to know what the factors are before they can answer the next question. All right, that's why they give you, sometimes they give you in exams, question 1, this. Question 2, form your answer in question 1. What is this, right? But imagine when they ask you from your answer in question 2, what is this? And then question 2 comes under. So you have to answer question 2 before answering question 1. It doesn't sound sensible. So your survey should be organized sensibly. Then next, use consistent wording and answer format. The answer format should not be all over the place. Next, be polite. Don't be rude. You must do this. Why are you like that? Be polite. Next, this is another activity that should be carried out on slide 19. Yes. Next, slide 20, rating scale. What is a rating scale? A rating scale is an ordered scale of responses. They are commonly used in questionnaires. They typically have 5 or 7 values before. I have used rating scales before as an example in this video. Yeah, where I use strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. Now that is a rating scale that has 5 options. Yes, but they can be 5 options or 7 options. Next, less values reduce data quality. More values are hard to process mentally. People end up just choosing bottom, middle, or top values. There is an argument to have an even number of values, that's 6, to force respondents to make a choice, although most people tend to choose more positive answers anyway. That is, there is no central point. There is no middle. We all know that the middle of 5 is 3. The number at the middle is 3. 2 numbers are for the positive, 2 numbers are for the negative, and there's a neutral point. And so 7 as well. 4 is the middle number, 3 responses for the positive point, and 3 responses for the negative part. But 6 has no midpoint. It has no neutral points. It's either positive or negative. So there's an argument to have that, but then it is not advisable. There is also an argument to word some of the questions negatively to stop respondents from giving responses without thinking. Example, wouldn't you agree that smokers should stop smoking? Yes, no, maybe. Now, if it was, would you agree, to be like straight to the point, would I agree? I won't, or something, or I would. But when you say wouldn't you agree, it's like, hold up, wait. Okay. So next we have examples. For example, example 1 of a rating scale that is that has 5 values. Indicate the extent to which you agree or disagree with the statement. Staff on this workshop are good at explaining things. 1, strongly agree. 2, excuse me. 1, strongly disagree. 2, disagree. 3, neutral. 4, agree. 5, strongly agree. Now, this yields ordinal data. There's an order to it, and it's limited, has limited analysis options. Yes. But then next, we're going to see a 7 valued rating scale. Now, indicates the extent to which you agree or disagree with the statement. Staff on this workshop are good at explaining things. 1, strongly disagree, and then there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and next there's strongly agree. Now, it yields richer scale data, more analysis options. It has more analysis to cover. Next, we're going to see likelihood scales. Many people refer to rating scales like the previous examples as Likert scales. Strictly speaking, a Likert scale is a series of numbered rating scale questions which are used to measure responses to a series of carefully developed attitude statements, e.g. a focus group. Likert scale value is then the overall sum of the numbered ratings once negatively worded items have been reversed. However, this should not be done without first testing the scale for reliability. Questionnaire design process. Don't let the tail wag the dog. Do not start designing your questionnaires by simply writing questions. No, that is wrong. You cannot just start from nowhere. You start by first considering what are your research questions. What am I trying to find? What am I looking for? What do I hope to achieve after I get the data from these questions? And then you use this to determine what data you need and the analysis you will do. Test your questionnaire in a pilot survey. What is a pilot survey, you may ask? A pilot survey is a survey that you share among a few friends to help you check their reactions. It helps you to see the reactions from your friends. It helps you to see if there are problems in your survey. So a pilot survey is something that is a survey that you share among your friends first before sending it out to the world, sending it out to other people. So how we usually have mock exams before the real exam to help you see certain things before the main exam. So that's how a pilot survey works. Now, always pilot your questionnaire with a few friends before carrying out your full survey. This is very important. This will allow you to check the integrity of your questions. Do these questions make them want to lie? Or does it make them want to say the truth? Because there are some questions that make people want to lie. For example, do you still stationary at your place of work? Excuse me, why would I tell you I still? Even people that still stationary will tell you they don't still stationary, and that's the truth. So to help you check the integrity of your questions, identify missing response categories. What are those places that are too long to fill? The places that people do not understand. And what is she really trying to say? You know what you're trying to say, but they don't know what you're trying to say. So a pilot survey helps you see how your friends, the people close to you, react to your survey before you send it to other people. So after you get your pilot survey from them, you can make certain adjustments based on what you get from them, their reaction. It's like a mini analysis after correcting that survey, you then send the survey out to other people. Now, check for spelling. It helps you also check for spelling and grammatical mistakes. You make a mistake, you're like, there's a mistake in this place, so please check. Next, there's assess any difficulties. It helps us to assess difficulties, especially like places that they do not understand. They can ask you questions, and then you could add more context to your survey, or you could make a place to describe. You could describe that question to your other respondents. Next, it helps you check the analysis you plan to do. So next, recap. We have looked at what is a questionnaire, maximizing response rates, data types and question types, question design principles, questionnaire layout, rating scales, questionnaire design process. So from everything I have said, everything I have explained so far, I would like us to answer some of the activities in this document. For example, the first activities in this document. So join me on slide 9. In pairs or small groups, refer to the sample questions handout. This contains a series of poorly written questions. Some are real. Look at each question in turn. State one potential problem with each question. Spend at most 1 minute on each. So I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about it. Yeah, 30 whole seconds to think about it. And then I'm going to join you and answer it. So, are we ready? Because I am ready. Ready when you are. Okay, let's go. Smoking in public places should not be abolished. What do you think is wrong with this question? Well, the 30 seconds are up. So this question has double negatives. It has should not. It has should not in the question. Yes, it's not even a question. It's a statement, and then it has no again. Now, it almost feels like it actually feels like you are directing the response of your respondent. Yes, you are directing the response. You've already put a negative statement in your question, and then you're putting an option for no as well. And this can create bias. So what we're trying to do is not impose our opinions on people. What we're trying to do is get their own opinion. Next, we have, what percentage of your annual salary do you spend on petrol? Your 30 seconds start now. Well, the time's up now. Think about this. When somebody gives you this kind of question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? First of all, the person is not asking you how much you spend on petrol in one day. They're not asking you how much you spend on petrol in a week. They're not asking you in a month. They're not asking you in a year. They're not just asking you how much, they're asking you what is the percentage. So first, you need to know how much you spend in a day. That's if you buy every day. And if you don't, you have to know how much you spend in a week, how much you spend in a month, or do a lot of multiplication and then do the whole calculation over the whole year. Yes. And next you have to remove that percentage from your annual salary as well. That's you're also calculating the salary you get throughout the year and then taking out, calculating the percentage you use on petrol. This is too long, this is too complex, this is too difficult. People will skip this question. There will just be an empty blank space. So it is called an ambiguous question. It is too big. Now, if students were to receive more discounts, where would be most appropriate? We have 1, restaurants, 2, supermarkets, 3, bars. Your time starts now. Time's up. When you heard this question, did you think to yourself, but why will students only want discounts in these 3 places? And there are other places that they would like discounts as well? And if you had that thought, you were correct, yes. All the options were not exhausted. There are more places students can get discounts. For example, bookstores. What if they want to get books? As students, bookstores are important to get a discount from, but there's no bookstore here. There are only restaurants, supermarkets, and bars. When creating a survey, it is very important to exhaust as much gaps as possible, cover as much areas as possible. That doesn't mean you have to write. And don't forget, it's also important that you don't write a long list for them to choose from, an overly long list for them to choose from, but there should be a space. For example, others, ... We've seen that before, where they give you an option where how do the following which of the following activities affect your life? There is this, there's box dash, there's box dash, box this, box that, and then there's a place for others. Let's say the first one is traffic, the second one is stress, the third one is money. How do they affect your everyday activities? And then there's a place for others. So that any part that wasn't mentioned can be written down. Others is also an option that can be analyzed. Next, we're going to check number 4. How much money do you spend per week on alcohol, if any? The time starts now. So What was your answer? Oh, wait, I can hear you. Okay, that's fine. I can't hear you anyway. So look at the options properly. What do you notice? The first option is 0 naira. The second option is 10 to 20 naira. The third one is 1 to 5 naira. The fourth is 30 to 40 naira. The fifth is 40 to 50 naira. And the sixth is 50 plus naira. That's above 50 naira. So every part was covered because there's a space for greater than 50. So even if you're 100, 150, 200, that goes into 50 plus, which is greater than 50. But there is a problem. Take a look at option 4 and option 5. There is 30 to 40, and there's also 40 to 50. So if I were to be spending 40 naira on alcohol, which box am I going to check? This is a multiple choice question. This is not a multiple answer question, meaning I have to pick one. Yeah, but then I have 2 places, so I have to pick one. So it's very important that the answers on your survey, especially when they come to multiple choice, that's picking one answer, they should be mutually exclusive. There shouldn't be a point where they meet. No, they should be separated. You cannot point this part and then point that part as well. It's either A or B, not A and kind of B. No, it's either one or the other. So that is the problem of question 4. Now let us review the answers. Question 1. Answer to question 1's problem is avoid double negatives. Let's go back. Smoking in public places should not be abolished. And then no, these are the double negatives that should be avoided. Next, question 2. It should not be too difficult. All that calculation is not necessary. Calculate from each week of the month and then down to from January to December, and then our salary as well, January to December, and then we sum everything up and then we do this and then multiply by 100. Nobody is going to do that. Honestly speaking, you would not do that. So we should be really careful not to make our questions too difficult for people to answer. Next, we have responses should exhaust all possible options or have a residual opinion, such as order. That's the place where students should have their discount. There are more options. There are more places where people would like to have, students would like to have their discounts. So order should be included. Next, we have responses should be mutually exclusive. We just spoke about that. They should not be related. They should be different. So with this example on how to answer your questions, how to answer the activities, I would like you to do the rest of the activities on your own as a take-home. And it's very important because you performing these activities will help you learn how to properly create a survey. Thank you for your time and goodbye.